From Interior Alaska's most trusted news source, this is the Fbx Evening News.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on the Fbx Evening News. Tonight, special guest Mike Schultz at the top of the broadcast, and it has to do with weather.
Yeah, we talked about a big storm last night that would be affecting the interior, and this afternoon, well, the folks up at the Weather Service issued a winter storm warning. That's right. I talked with one of my friends up there today, and he described this storm as very unusual.
So we've got strong southwest winds aloft, going to be bringing in lots of moisture. Precipitation going to start out as snow, and it's going to snow for a while. But most unusually, it looks like we're going to have snow, probably going to change to or mix with rain during the day on Saturday, and then probably change back to all snow on Saturday evening before that snow peters out Sunday morning. That's a very unusual situation for Fairbanks.
So, Mike, what are some precautions that people can take to prepare for this?
I would say to be safe, you should definitely make sure you have batteries and make sure you have plenty of food, because we're talking about the freezing rain that will be coming tomorrow could weigh down the power lines and also snap trees, and that, of course, could cause a lot of problems. And it's just something just to be safe.
And what time is the warning? It's from 3 o'clock this morning?
3 o'clock tomorrow morning, Saturday
Okay.
morning, until 6 o'clock Sunday night. And we're looking at maybe 4 to 8 inches of snow.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to go skiing next weekend, I guess.
Yes, you will.
Possibly.
And there's even a bigger storm coming for the middle of next week.
Wow. Yeah. So there's that snow you wanted there, Stephanie. Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
We'll talk more about this later on, of course.
Right. All right. Thank you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
And in other news this evening, the Finance Committee of the Borough Assembly had some tough questions for the mayor last night. The majority of the committee's work session focused on a land sale in the Angel Rocks area to Chena Hot Springs Resort owner Bernie Carl. In exchange for creating public access easements to the Angel Rocks hiking trails and other various privately owned mine claims, Mayor Hopkins' negotiating team wants to sell the land to Carl at a reduced price. The land was originally valued at about $390 an acre, which totals about $580,000. The mayor's office has settled on a nearly $283,000 discount for the improvements that Carl will make in return. Assembly members questioned the amount of the discount, particularly in reference to the hiking trail access, and how the mayor's office settled on what the improvements are worth.
The government takes property through eminent domain for a road or a trail or whatnot. We pay the fair market value for the property. That's the value of the property. And that's the $74,000 figure here. Mm-hmm. And now we're adding another $33,000, $32,891 on top of that as some other additional public interest. It's like we're double dipping here in the value of these easements. I'm trying to figure out the logic behind the numbers I'm looking at here, because I'm failing to see that.
Well, I guess I would address it as the Angel Rock Trails and the public that comes here, both in our community and outside of our community that comes here and gets to go through this Angel Rock Trails and comes down and then can walk right through here, has permanent access to it in the sense of perpetuity, and can get to their vehicles that are parked there, and they can move right along. There's the value to that.
There will not be a separate public hearing on the land sale. If members of the public will like to comment, the Assembly will be hearing testimony from 6 to 7 p.m. during their regular meeting, which will be next Thursday, November 15th at the Borough Assembly Chambers.
Alaska officials say Reese's Fine Foods has again expanded a recall to include chicken, beef, and ham products produced at a facility in Topeka, Kansas last month. The State Department of Environmental Conservation says the products may be contaminated with listeria. Listeria can cause fever, nausea, severe headache, abdominal pain, and diarrhea, and be fatal to sensitive groups. Other recalled Reese's products include salads, salsas, spreads, dips, and baked beans.
The Pipeline Training Center's new facility was filled with graduates going into the trade earlier today. 120 students from the 4 main pipeline trades, including the operating engineers, plumbers, and pipe fitters, laborers, and teamsters, had their graduation ceremony. The Pipeline Training Center has been training individuals for the pipeline industry for 12 years now. The new facility also offers a 24-man camp for people who come in from rural and outlying areas to stay while they are taking their courses. Officials talked about how this facility is one of a kind.
This is our new workforce we've been working on. The 4 main pipeline trades have come together. the operating engineers, plumbers and pipe fitters, laborers and teamsters coming together to build a workforce for the future, for the pipeline industry. The real advantage to this type of training that we do is the 4 trades get to come together and train as one group. This is the only place in the United States that they do this.
All right, when we come back, the Alaska Court of Appeals readdresses texting while driving.
Also, the Fairbanks North Star Borough is looking for artwork for the library in North Pole. Stay with us.
And welcome back. Department of Corrections officials say fewer people released from Alaska prisons are committing crimes that return them to custody. Deputy Commissioner Ron Taylor also says more inmates are completing substance abuse treatment. Taylor testified Monday before the legislature's Joint Judiciary Committee. Returning prisoners are a major factor in the prison population growth. The department says the recidivism rate in 2007 for prisoners released 3 years before was 66%. The 2013 rate fell to 63.5% for prisoners released in 2010. Taylor says the state began seriously reviewing recidivism rates in 2007 and took steps to provide better services upon release. He says 45% of prisoners in substance abuse programs completed them in 2010. The completion rate increased to 65% in 2013.
U.S. Customs and Border Protection has denied a proposal to fly tourists between Fairbanks and Canada's Dawson City. Customs officials are unwilling to relocate workers to Alaska's interior to meet those flights. Holland America wanted to begin the flights next summer using Whitehorse-based Air North to shuttle as many as 19,000 people between the 2 destinations. But in a letter to Air North, Customs Anchorage Area Port Director Lance Robinson said relocating workers to Fairbanks would be, quote, an inefficient use of our existing resources, end quote. U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski's office says the Alaska Republican plans to formally support an appeal filed by Air North. Holland America spokesman Eric Elfajord says the company is still hoping for a resolution to allow the flights.
The Alaska Court of Appeals has found a former law was ambiguous with regard to whether it banned text messaging while driving. The decision comes in the case of Tyler Adams, who in 2011 was charged with texting while driving. Magistrate Jennifer Wells granted Adams' request to have the case dismissed, citing unclear language in the law. While some lawmakers said they intended to ban texting while driving with the 2008 law, the appeals court, in a memorandum opinion, found the legislative intent in that regard was ambiguous at best. The law referred to driving with a screen device operating but didn't mention text messaging. Legislators in 2012 amended the law to spell out circumstances in which someone would commit the crime of driving while texting.
Alaskans turned in more than a ton of old prescription drugs during a recent statewide disposal event. The State Department of Public Safety says more than 2,700 pounds of old meds were turned in last month at Fairbanks and 33 other collection sites across Alaska. The DEA, state troopers, and other agencies hold disposal events every 6 months. The effort is aimed at getting rid of old drugs that could be misused or abused.
Monday is 11/11, originally the anniversary of Armistice Day, now a time to honor all veterans and victims of war. Student veterans at UAF and ROTC will host a roll call at UAF on Monday to commemorate the soldiers who have died while serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. From 8 a.m. until 5 p.m., they will read the names of every soldier who has died in the last 10 years. Organizers say during the last year, around 200 more names have been added to the list of those who died while serving in Afghanistan. The event is held in Constitution Park, and there will be special performances at 5 p.m.
The closing ceremony is going to be, really impactful, I think, this year because we have one of our Gold Star families, the Sutherlands, who are, paying tribute to their own father. I've always participated, at least, for 10, 20 minutes reading names. And I've got 6 names that I always read myself, so, of people I've known.
There is a need for artwork to adorn the new North Pole Branch Library. The Fairbanks North Star Borough is requesting artwork ideas for 2 areas of the library, which will be completed in August. The request says a hanging mobile that weighs up to 500 pounds will be good for the lobby. It's also seeking wall art for the fireplace area. Artists have until December 27th to submit ideas on the borough's website. Alaska artists will be given preference. State and local funds will cover the costs of the art and installation.
All right, well, coming up next, Joe has his sports. He has highlights from today's early action in the Aurora Conference Volleyball Tournament.
Okay, he also has a look at the weekend ahead and the play of the week. All that and more next in sports with Joe Cook.
Hello, Interior sports fans. Joe Cook here in the Sports Euphoria this evening, bringing you some Friday sports to start your weekend off right. This morning was the start of the Aurora Conference Volleyball Tournament at Allison High School. The top two teams will go to the 3A State Championship Tournament. First game of the day was host number 4 Allison taking on number 5 Delta. The Ravens up 2-0 and we're looking for the sweep, but the Huskies, they made it tough. Valerie Crapel's ace tied it at 19 all. The Huskies were keeping pace with Allison late. Katie Browder got a couple of aces to give Allison match point. But Kelly Christmas, she comes back and forces extra points, tying the game at 25 all. But after a Delta error, Asia Doe put down the game winner for Allison as they get the sweep 25-16, 25-22, 27-25. Doe talks about the first round win for Allison.
We really had a lot of good chemistry and getting pumped off each other's good hits and blocks and passes. I was really inspired by my teammates. They really pushed me to try and get the ball to where the other players weren't so we could score and win the game.
And number 3, Valdez, and number 6, Galena took the court after that game. The winner gets number 2, Hutchinson, this afternoon. The Buccaneers were focused and ready for this one. Senior Gabby Labonte scored some aces off the service line. Miranda Haltness, Veronica Hirsch, and Maddie Fleming made their presence felt with their offensive game. The Bucks led 9-1 in the first and start their Aurora Conference Tournament strong with the 25-6, 25-6, 25-10 sweep over Galena. Galena and Delta going to the losers bracket in the double elimination tournament. And then the Ravens got back on the court at 2 o'clock to play Monroe, the number 1 seed in the tournament, rocking their pink jerseys. Remember, you just saw Asia Doe talk about the Ravens performing well in their first game, and it was close in the first set as no one had more than a 2-point lead. It was tied 9-9. Then Monroe went on a 10-0 run, ignited by 6 aces from Gazelle Hollis. The Rams got the first set 25-11. The Ravens made their case from the service line in the second as Lexi Smith broke a 6-6 tie. Then Larissa Franklin gave Allison a lead with an ace as well. But the Rams battled through and win the second set 25-20 and get the sweep with the 25-17 win in the third as the Rams advance to the semis and await the winner of Hutchinson and Valdez. 30 interior swimmers and divers will compete for the state championships in Juneau this weekend. 17 of them are from West Valley. The Wolfpack will send 8 boys, including Richard Chin and Luis Marquez, who both won 4 Region 6 titles. The girls team had 9 qualified for state, including multiple region titleists Cassidy Heaton and Zoe Thorson. Emily Shipman qualified for diamond for West Valley. North Pole had 11 athletes qualified. 3 boys will complete, including Kelsey Knorr, the 500 free region champ. On the girls' side, 8 will compete for state titles, including Martha Hood, who was top 3 in the 500 free in the state, and Hannah Boatman, who won the girls' 100 back region title. Joe Freuderbruggen will represent Hutchinson at state in the 100 butterfly. Later, Zach Campbell will be the lone Malamute at state, but he is ranked number 1 in boys 1 meter diving. The Alaska Nanac hockey team is in Michigan, in the Michigan UP, taking on the Lake Superior State Lakers. The game started around 3:30 Alaska time, and it was scoreless at the end of the first period. David Jones got the start at goalie for UAF and made 6 saves. We'll have the final in the sports nightcap tonight. And the Nanac volleyball team will be taking on rival UAA Saturday night at 7, but let's take a look at a jam-packed weekend sports in the interior. Tonight and tomorrow at 7:30, your Fairbanks Ice Dogs host in-state rival Kenai as the Era Cup series continues. The Ice Dogs lead 2-0. Also, the Nanac men's basketball team will have one of 2 exhibitions against Northwest Indian College tonight and Saturday at 7. Early tomorrow morning at 8 in the Alaska Department of Fish and Game, West Valley and Lathrop will shoot it out in a high school rifle match. Hutchinson takes on North Pole at the E.F. Horton Rifle Range at UAF at 8 as well. And at 1 p.m., the MAC Volleyball Tournament title game will go down at North Pole High School. And at 3:15, at Allison High School, the Aurora Conference Tournament title will be decided. And finally, on Friday, it's the play of the week. This week's play of the week is the West Valley girls winning the 200 freestyle relay team. West Valley Zoe Thorson holds off North Pole's Martha Hood at the wall in the anchor leg of the 200 free relay. The Wolfpack won by just 0.04 of a second. West Valley will also go on to win their 5th straight Region 6 title last Saturday night. To vote for the top play of the week, tune in on Mondays for the I-5, the interior top 5 plays at the end of the weekend recap. And that'll do it for Sports at 6, but come back tonight for the Sports Nightcap with all of Friday's highlights and scores. And if that isn't enough, for more KTVF Sports, go to Twitter, YouTube, website11.com. You can also get the KTVF mobile app. Get warm, Alaska. Mike Schultz is next with your full weather forecast, and we'll catch you next time.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Mike Schultz with you once again, taking a look at the weather. And except for the big storm coming today, it wasn't too bad across the interior. We had clouds and a few snow flurries here and there, but all in all, not too bad. Look at the auroras that were out a couple nights ago. Well, Trevor Gridley was able to capture them in a beautiful photograph. Once again, we thank him for that photograph. And if you have a photograph to share with us, by all means, send it to Mike Schultz at KTVF11.com. And once again, don't forget, our Mike Fab Photos calendar, weather calendar, is out right now with all types of great photos that you folks have sent in. And you can pick them up all across the Fairbanks area. One place is Personnel Plus, and just keep an eye out for them. And they'll be out there for at least a couple more months. We have a lot of them to give out. Okay, here's what's going on as far as temperatures go. The normal high 14 degrees, normal low 2 below. Well, we were like about close to about 7 degrees today. The record high 41 in 1926, record low 35 below 1956. Your sunrise and sunset works out to 6 hours and 54 minutes, a loss of 7 minutes from yesterday. On our satellite picture, you can see the big storm starting to move in from the west. A lot of moisture associated with it. Again, the blues and the pinks indicating we're looking at maybe some freezing rain all the way over here to the southwest, all moving our direction. That's going to be the big storm to talk about the next couple of days. Elsewhere across the state, things are fairly quiet across southeast Alaska. A few scattered showers around Ketchikan, clear skies from Anchorage right on down to Kodiak and Cold Bay. Some rain, of course, moving across the Bethel area. And up in the North Slope, clear skies at Barrow with fog around Nome. Lower 48 weather, things are still pretty quiet over the western half of the country. That's going to change in a few days. 85 degrees at Phoenix, not too bad. 46 in Minneapolis, cloudy skies there, and some showers over the southeast. On the satellite and radar, you see a little bit of activity moving across parts of Texas and across the Great Lakes, and a new storm system is starting to move across the northern plains into the northern Rockies, I should say, bringing more snow and cold temperatures. In fact, cold temperatures are going to be the key factor next week, as you can see the Arctic blast coming in from Canada, dropping all the way down south as far as the Ohio Valley. Well, back to Alaska for tomorrow. Here's what it looks like in the northern sections. Cloudy skies at Barrow, rain and snow for Nome, 1 to 3 inches of snow expected in the Fort Yukon area. Here in the interior, again, the problem is freezing rain and snow in Fairbanks and Healy, cloudy skies for Delta Junction, while over the southeastern sections, it looks like sunny but windy at Juneau, with mainly cloudy skies in Ketchikan. To the southwest, a lot of wild weather going on there. Rain and wind in Bethel, rain for Cold Bay and cloudy skies at Kodiak, while over the south central regions it looks like cloudy skies in Anchorage and Valdez and a few clouds for Homer. And once again, talking about that big storm, well, we've got it covered for you. In fact, the winter storm warning, like I said, 3 a.m. Saturday to 6 p.m. Sunday. Snow developing early Saturday morning may turn to freezing rain, coating trees and power lines. And KTVF will be monitoring the situation Saturday and keep you informed with bulletins and updates throughout the day, so be sure and keep it tuned to here. Here's your forecast for tonight. Not as cold, with snow beginning early tomorrow morning, 8 degrees for the overnight low. Tomorrow's forecast, freezing rain becoming all snow by evening, 2 to 4 inches possible. It could even be more in the higher elevations, and winds also possible in the higher elevations. Here's your 5-day outlook. As you can see here, looking at snow on Sunday, and the chance of snow for Monday and Tuesday, and then another big storm expected for Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures rising to the mid-20s, overnight lows right around the single-teen points.
All right, Mike, well.
So the big news, obviously, is just
Lots of snow,
keeping advised. And like I said, I'll be here burning the midnight oil tomorrow, making sure people keep aware of what's going on.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah, very good. And,
we know we can trust you, Mike.
And also just a general caution out there for drivers, especially if that black ice is going to be, well, snow and then rain create some slick conditions out there, that's for sure.
Keep your trips limited, by all means.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And that will wrap up this edition of the Fairbanks Evening News. As always, we are glad you could join us.
Tonight on NBC Nightly News, an innocent man freed after decades. That's coming up next with Brian Williams.
Remember, KTVF and Kendall Toyota are coming together to help fight hunger with a local canned food drive by filling the Toyota Tundra on Kendall's showroom floor. You can drop off your donations at Kendall Toyota at 1000 Cadillac Court and Channel 11 at 530 7th Avenue. And of course, our studios here at 3650 Braddock Street.
Okay.
Awesome.
From all of us here at the News Center, we hope you have a great weekend. Good night.
Fabulous weekend.